another, this one here really do it for you.
Baby, you forget it. Yeah, baby, I'm all over. Baby, come down to it. Let me show you how to play.
Y'all about my big bro Gerard in the podcast crew.
Hey, what's up, great people? How's everyone? I think Gregory done froze up. So, Gregory, if you hear us, go ahead and jump out and jump back in. But while we work on getting Gregory in the show, here you go. Here we go. Hey, man.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I just, I like to make an entrance. So that's what I do. Occasionally I got to slip out, slide back in, and act like I'm brand new. That's what I do. Well, welcome, everybody, to the Floor Is Yours podcast. We are excited to have you guys here today. So as you may remember from last night, we're doing a 3-part series today about service and responsibility. So tonight we're talking about how to save our communities. We're going to talk about our community, our responsibility. So tonight, the show is going to be about the significance of having a neighborhood, the significance of having a hood, if you will, and what it is that brings out of us. What is so important about the nurturing that we get from growing up in our cities, in our states, in our country? What is it about that thing when you have a place you can call home that roots you and grounds you and builds you up to be a better individual? So along with that, we're going to talk about the components of a good neighborhood, the components of a good community, which is mentorship, respecting our elders, political activism, and all of those things combined makes the gumbo that has poured into each and every one of us as made us the people that we are today. But as you know, I couldn't do this alone. I got my crew with me today. I got my main man, Gerard Ware, in the house. Say what's up to the people, Gerard.
Hey, good evening, people, and I just can't miss this moment to tell the audience thank you for joining us. And you know how we say it, you could be anywhere, but you're here with us. So we definitely appreciate that. And hey, make sure you keep the comments coming. I know people are already saying hello. We're going to make sure we share the comments and any questions and address them. So keep them coming, and we'll be sure to get to them.
Absolutely. And also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Tell everyone that the Floor Is Yours podcast is on and that we are doing the doggone thing. Now, before we go another further, as the old school preachers used to say, we're here this week to particularly highlight the Create the Life I Want conference. And so we're going to have some discussions this week that are probably just a little bit more bolder, a little bit more raw, a little bit more uncut, so you can get a sneak peek into what the conversations are going to look like at the conference. So at the Create the Life I Want conference, you will have real, raw, and relevant conversations for men and how men can elevate and reach their full potential. And one of the most important aspects of being a man is being connected to a community, connected to people that support you and believe in you and can identify with you. And so that's why tonight's discussion is particularly important, because if you are a man trying to make it through life, you cannot do it by yourself. God did not create us to live in a silo. He created us for community. And so we have to talk about community if we're talking about the well-being of our men. So we brought on an expert tonight that's going to help us elevate that conversation to a whole nother level, because you hear Gerard and I speak all the time. But we said for the people today, we're going to push it up a notch. So we have the one and the only Dr. Elizabeth Jennings in the house. Dr. Jennings, please tell us about yourself. The floor is yours.
Hey, thank you all. It's so good to be here with you all, and super excited to have everyone tuning in. Just to share a brief background of why I'm here today, and looking forward to chiming in some conversations this week. I am an occupational therapist by profession. That is what I have my doctorate in, but I also have my master's in community health and health promotion. And so a lot of work that I do in regards to advocacy and community service is centered around my passion for supporting our community, whether it be men, whether it be adults, whether it be youth, creating programs and opportunities where we feel included and that we have the necessary resources that may be lacking to support our mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being. And so super excited to chime in on the conversation today.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. We are particularly elephant elated to have you here today because we want to also highlight to all our listeners how important it is for our women to support us. Gerard and I say it all the time. We need you, women. We need you, Black woman. We need you in our lives. And so we're honored to have a woman such as yourself here tonight to just pour into this conversation because the women in our lives really, really are our backbone. They help keep us on the straight and narrow. They help keep us encouraged. And so thank you for showing up and being a voice in your way for women tonight. So let's dive into the conversation. Our community, our responsibility. So let's talk about back in the day when I was young. I'm not a kid anymore. Tell us, Dr. Jennings, what's one of your favorite childhood moments that stands out of why and how community was fun or maybe impactful for you? So when you was a kid, what significance did your community hold for you?
Yeah, so growing up, I was raised in a very strict Pentecostal background. But I
Mm,
will say that the thing that stands out the most is within that background, the church was the foundation. My mom was a single mom, and so she worked a lot cleaning houses. And so it was people from my church that kind of like took me in. They would pick me up and take me to the park to hang with their families and just have different experiences that my mom wasn't able to provide for me. And
mhm.
so just really being able to see that extension of, and that would be like the community from different
Yeah.
people. And, I love kids. So I was always like the church babysitter that everyone would take their kids to because I could make them go to sleep and they could enjoy, church and things like that. And then they would take me to their house and, I was babysitting since I was 9 years old. So those were some of the fond memories is knowing that people trusted me and that there was trust for me with them. We don't see that too often, I think, these days, but that's what community really resonated for me.
Yeah, yeah. It's very important to have people that are a little bit further down the road around you so they can guide you because life is complicated. It's unpredictable, but there's a pretty much 100% guarantee to whatever obstacle you're facing, someone's already faced before. And so to have trusted individuals around you that can say, "Hey, I've been there, young blood. This is how you should do this, or this is how you should look at it. This is how you should manage it," really is impactful. And particularly as a youth, it is good to have adults around you that you can feel safe around because when you're young, you don't know fully who to trust. You don't know what dangers are lurking around the corner. So when you have a coach, a mentor, a pastor, a deacon, the mother of the neighborhood down the street, the candy lady at the candy house. Y'all don't know about that. Y'all kind of young. That you can call on and you can feel safe. It really does something to you to as a kid to feel that type of love. But as we have aged a bit, communities have changed. We've become more digital and inclined. We've become less communicative. We don't talk to our neighbors. We don't talk to the people across the street anymore. Uh, what kind of impact do you think that has made on children and our society that we don't communicate as much as anymore? We don't wave, we don't say hi, we don't ask for sugar, we don't do any of those things anymore.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing that you just kind of mentioned is communication used to exist.
Yeah,
Like it used to be cool to like you said, knock on someone's door and actually have a conversation. Or if you saw those individuals in the street or at the store, it was common place for them to like call you out if you were doing something that you necessarily wasn't in a loving way, right? And it was
yeah,
respected and it was received.
right.
These days, like that relationship, those dynamics, especially for our youth, don't necessarily exist. The attitude, I
Hmm.
think, has started to shift to where it's my four and no more, meaning, I'm going to take care of my household and anything outside of that, I'm going to protect my family from it, as opposed to understanding what that looks like to extend that love and that acceptance, because it's necessary, because not everyone has that protective family or support system, especially our youth. And so we are seeing more behavior issues, more violence, among our younger generation, because they're not seeing, and the respect that we used to have, that mutual respect, isn't really existing anymore. And so sadly enough, that is what is happening more often. And so that's why there's such a need to create those systems or places or spaces that are safe, where we are actually like building bridges instead of walls, I think, as a whole.
I couldn't agree more. I think you're absolutely right. One of the deficits I think we face in our society today is a lack of respect for our elders. Where we used to respect when grandmother spoke, everyone got quiet. Or when an adult walked into the room, you straightened up a bit. And whether or not those adults, behaved in a manner that was respectful or not, you still had an admiration of, you had a personal standard that I treat others with respect who are in a position above me, and we've kind of lost that. We've become a bit more rebellious in nature and inclined. Now, some of it may be appropriate. Some of it is, I think, an awareness of when you know better, you do better. Sure. But then we also lost a connection with wisdom. I believe is the true loss of not having listening to grandmother or grandfather or the uncles, and as they're trying to pour into you. We're so dismissive right now. Is that something that you recognize, or am I by myself?
I hear you. Another point that I just want to add to that for consideration as we talk is what what used to look like grandmothers, like, don't really look like grandmothers these days. And so there is a age divide where grandmothers are grandmothers at earlier ages. And so the normal, what you expect with grandmom in the kitchen, baking cookies or making food, like grandmom these days are getting dressed up and going to the club. And, so it's a different type of feel. That I think exists. And I'm just not to judge, but just to kind of share, that's where we may have some of that breakdown of, do we have those spaces where our younger generation can sit at the foot of someone and ask questions? Is there enough time for these conversations that are safe places, or are they rushed or just dropping, people off or this or that? And there's really no exchange and no opportunity to have those experiences. I think that has a big part of what we may be seeing also in regards to dynamics of what's happening.
It's interesting that you said that, because the kids are going to be kids, right? When they're facing adults, they're going to listen, right? Kids are so impressionable. So I don't think that's necessarily has changed more than what you're saying, and again, no judgment, but you hear the titles, I'm not grandma, I'm grandma, and G-pop, those things right there. And it might seem innocent, and usually probably is, but when you probably peel back the layers of the onion, and consider, what does that mean? Our grandma and G-pop being that stable presence in everyone's life. And, again, no judgment, but that's something I think that we can consider based off what you just said.
Yeah. And I would kind of push back just a little bit on the kid part of it. Kids have to be taught how to listen because they're very impressionable. And because there's so many technology like placed in front of them when it comes to iPads and phones at such earlier ages, they really don't have the opportunity to develop those muscles to be able to listen, to be able to process instructions. Everything is like lack of interaction, lack of patience that they would normally develop to be able to understand and hear and process. And so I think that also is playing a big part, where there's a very strong disconnect in regards to interaction and communication on both ends, which is kind of breaking down community also on that end.
Yeah. Excellent point. Yeah.
We're talking about, community and mental health and how it all is woven together. In your opinion, what type of impact does the well-being or mental development have in being connected to a community? Is it really important that we have a place that we can call home, that we identify with, or is it the journey of self-discovery which is more important? Should
Yeah.
we do we need a community to be mentally strong?
Yes, we do. Because growing up, there's going to be a lot of, especially these days, right? Like present time,
Yeah,
so many experiences, so many things that our youth are exposed to, adults exposed to, just as human beings when it comes to society, when it comes to the media, when it comes to things that we're listening to. And so self discovery usually kind of a lot of times exists in isolation. And
yeah,
so when you have that isolation occurring, then you're not able to filter out like that may pop up that may need to be filtered through the lenses of those who are more mature, who can understand, who can help you
yeah.
navigate through some of the nuances that you may be feeling, which leads to a lot of depression, anxiety, because you're in an island and your thoughts are racing and it feels like it's just you, when truly if you have that community, you can bounce back ideas and understand I'm not the only one feeling this way. I'm not the only one dealing with this. As a parent, if you're struggling with behavior issues with your child, if you had a community, then it's kind of like, okay, I see that I'm not the only one, struggling with this battle behavior wise. I can get some ideas and stress suggestions and resources to help me so that I don't feel like I'm losing my mind in this island that I feel I'm living in. So that's why
Exactly.
community becomes so important, because it allows us to find the human side in ourselves, to realize we're not seeking for perfection. We're seeking for how we can grow, improve, and learn with all the things that we are dealing with as a society together.
I love that. It gives you a sense of normal, because if left to your own devices of just television, magazines, and social media, you would think the normal is that everybody has. Are you guys, did I lose you?
No, you're
I
good.
think I lost you.
No,
Oh, okay. Because my screen is flickering. Okay, but if you don't have a community around you, then you begin to think that the images that you see in social media are the normal. That everybody has perfect bodies, everybody has perfect homes, everybody has perfect cars, everybody has the latest fashions. But when you can see everyday people going about their way, you get a sense of I am normal, I am not odd, and I am not weird. And so having a community around you helps you identify yourself as being someone who is not in a deficit, that you're just like everybody else, and that you have the opportunity to excel to that level, and you're not behind the eight ball, you're not starting late, you're not starting with lesser than, you're just normal. It's also, to a point, I want to echo something you said, it's also good to have guidance, when you have um, someone in a community that's around you that is a bit more mature, they're able to now help you navigate those waters. Now, we do understand that sometimes failure is the best teacher, but if you can have someone pouring wisdom into you, you can prevent a lot of scars from happening. And one of the things that a community does is that it gives you confidence. And I have seen one of the biggest differences in people who achieve their goals and don't achieve their goals are people who have the confidence that they believe in themselves. And that comes from being around people who love you. There was a study done a few years ago with, I think they said like 20 billion billionaires or so. And there were two common factors that was common between all of them. Number one was grit. The person that just would not ever give up. They just believed it, kept going, going, going. But number two, all of these successful people had at least one person in their life that said, I believe in you. You can do it. You can make it. And that's what a community does. And I think that's one of the biggest advantages of having a community around them. Now, Gerard, I didn't ask you the question. I want to circle back to you. What is your fondest memory of the community that you grew up when you were growing up? Like, what do you remember about growing up as a kid, and why was your community so important to you?
yeah, I like that you said that you used the word kid specifically, because I think back to just the amount of we lost Gregory again. Let me get him back in here. You there, Gregory? You there?
I'm here. I'm here. I'm here.
Okay,
I'm here.
cool, cool. Yeah, one thing that stands out for me is the amount of kids that would be in the neighborhood. playing. I lived in the projects at one time, and I remember just looking at the playground, and there were just countless and countless kids out there just being kids, having fun, right? And you didn't have to necessarily worry about their safety. The one thing we have to worry about is turning that merry-go-round too fast, and they're flying off and getting scarred up or something, right? But it wasn't necessarily worried about any harm coming to us, right, from people outside the community. And then that was also the case as we grew up. We would find the little lots in the neighborhood to play football, right, baseball, all those things right there. We walked to school together and walked home together. And you talked about the penny candy, the candy store earlier. All those things right there. So those things can seem so small, but I think that was part of just allowing us to be kids that help build the communities, those little small things that meant so much. So those are some of my fondest memories about just being able to be a kid back then. And unfortunately, a lot of kids don't get to experience that for different reasons, right? But that's not always the experience of kids these days.
Yeah. And just to chime in, like sometimes we have these stereotypes, right? Like I was raised in the projects too. However, I was I was protected or guarded like in the projects, right? Like I was the little Liz that everyone from a very long point like used to always like make sure was still like safe in that area. And so I think it's interesting how with stereotypes, like, what we consider now as the hood, we don't have those oversights as much, right? Like we don't have those individuals who are still protecting, a lot of our youth within areas that may be low income or, in that area. And so I think that's why this conversation about creating those community spaces is so vital and important, where you can go to a space that even if you are low income, you can still like feel supported and protected. I think that's who I now have become for a lot of youth in our area, is that person who will give them exposures, but also like protect them if they don't have access to means and things like that. So I think that's an important point you brought up also.
Yeah.
That's good. That's great. That's great. So we're talking about the importance of a community. What do you feel, guys, are some of the deficits that we have in our community, and what can we do to support our community? Do you think our community is missing unity? Are we missing opportunities? Are we missing political awareness? What do you feel like are some of the deficits in the Black community that you feel like here's where I think we could pitch in and kind of help support?
So I'll chime in. Just from what I've seen, access is something that we are missing, like having ready, like access to participate, meaning that access may look like transportation. That access may look like the awareness of that there may be things out there, but people don't know about it. They're not informed about it. And then I do think it's opportunities, right? I think sometimes when we see things that exist, it's only provided or shown to a limited or a segregated amount of individuals and not necessarily hitting those who really need it. So that's what I've kind of seen on the area that becomes a blockage to, people getting what they need.
Yeah. I think access, you hit the nail on point there, is nail on the head. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Access to good food, to good education, to good medical services, and for me, my soapbox is good mental health. And I know that mental health treatment does come at a cost, but there are ways kind of around that we can circumvent it so that people can still get quality care holistically, and so that they can be taken care of and improved. I think that you're absolutely right. Oftentimes, you don't know what's available to you. So you don't know how to get your child in a better school. You don't know how to choose the best foods or where to go for medical attention and mental health treatment. And I think that could be an area, if I was in charge, I would like to make those pathways a little bit clearer, a little bit easier, so that people who are in need could easily access them. And I think that will help build this up. I think it's particularly particularly important for Black men, because if we are looking for Black men to be leaders, then Black men should step up, and Black men should have the opportunities to bring those resources to their family. And I know that if men are the leaders, then women are the multipliers. And I believe the old cliche to be true: whatever you give a woman, she makes better. You've probably heard this before. If you haven't, here's the truth. If you give a woman groceries, she'll make you a meal. You give a woman a home, she'll make you a house. You give a woman a seed, she'll give you a child. And so, whatever opportunities that we can create for the men to bring back home to his family, it would just be multiplied, and all of us will be served better for it. So, I think that was a great answer.
Yeah, and I'll just add on that too. I think grit is something that we're missing, right? And sometimes, when we be honest, we get tired and we get weary and disheartened, right? And we look at our counterparts and we think like, why is it so hard for us? And I've been guilty of that very statement, like it shouldn't be that hard. And that might be a true statement. However, it's not our reality. And to be honest, sometimes when it gets too hard, we just give up and we get in our silos and we go where it's easy and where it's convenient and where it's familiar. And I think that's something we need to consider. You know, that old saying is we always talk about what we used to do and how it used to be. Well, it's a different time now. And, you know, especially people in our age bracket, right? We experience what it was and we see clearly what it is right now. And I think I'm going to be honest about myself. I have to check myself often. You know, I'm dealing with the youth and remembering like, yeah, it's not like it was when I was younger. But what does that look like, right? And I'm really to put my boots on and get boots on the ground and make a change and do my part. So that's my part of that right there.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Absolutely.
I think
Absolutely. Go ahead, Doctor.
one of the things that I think, you know, we'll get or we can kind of talk about based on what you just shared, Gerard, is understanding the importance of like empathy and what that really means. Like being able to like understand what someone else has been through or experienced, even though our situation, you know, may not be the same, but being able to really, you know, get a true understanding of, okay, they lack some of the advantages that I may have, even though I may not have everything, I have a little bit more. And so when you're able to see someone who doesn't have as much opportunities as you and things like that, we have a decision that we can make, right? We can turn our head and act like we didn't see or recognize that, or that little thing inside of us that highlights that, we can take that as being that nudge that maybe God is giving us to say, hey, I put this on your heart for a reason, not just to sit there and just observe it, but to say, what can you do about it? And that's been something that's been very important for me. When I was younger, I had a lot of brothers, 3 brothers who struggled with mental health. And I think I shared before that my mom was a single mom, and I had older brothers and I had younger brothers, and, you know, not having my dad as active there back in and out of the home. One of the things that was so heavy on me is, as a teenager, I wanted to do something, right? I would go to adults at my church and try to find mentors for my brothers or try to find resources. But as a teenager, I only could do so much. So I felt so helpless because schizophrenia, a lot of mental health things were in my family, and everyone was just kind of talking about it. And I knew in my heart it wasn't right, but I couldn't do anything about it. So when I became an adult, that switched, right? I started like seeing not just what my son might be going through, but what others were going through. And that's when I was challenged with what you just said. Like I had enough empathy inside of me where it was like, I can't sit on what God is nudging me for. Now I have the education, the resources to be an advocate. And so that is what my life mission became because of that. And so I know there's a lot of people listening in who, you know, check off and they like certain things. And, you know, hopefully from even this conversation, it puts a fire in people, because especially now where we can't just sit on when something is put in our heart and our spirit, right? That is a sign that we need to do more. A little bit goes a long way. And if everyone did a little bit, then that would be enough. And so that's the message I try to tell everyone for all our populations that are lacking resources or access and things like that. So I just wanted to kind of chime in on that a little bit.
No, that's great. That's great. Agitation is direction. And so when you feel agitated about something, that is God pushing you and nudging you to do something about it. So that's great. How are your brothers doing now? Okay.
Um,
Okay. I got
it's a
you. I
journey.
got you.
I lost one of my brothers at a very young age to schizophrenia,
God bless you.
HIV, and then my other brother was in actually a mental institute for about 2 decades with that. So there was a big impact along the
Yeah.
way. Yeah. So I still
Yeah.
carry on the torch of what I can do now.
God bless you.
And
God
God
bless you.
bless you.
And that
Yeah.
is very inspiring to see that. I mean, because you could have just wallowed in your sadness, but now you are a drum major for change, and even in that. So kudos to you. I'll give you your flowers for doing that.
Hey, Gregory, so
You know,
let's take a moment before we switch topics. Let's hit some of these comments, and then we're gonna go to
okay.
commercial break, and then we'll
I
come
like
back and
I
hit the
like the
next topic.
comments.
Yeah, yeah. So we got some of our regulars, and just reminding everybody, put type your comments, ask your questions, and we'll make sure we get to as many of them as possible. It's always a joy to see Dorkisa. Sometimes she comes in late and she's asking like, what's the topic? This is me just picking on her. I appreciate you joining, but she was here early this time and she's saying hello. Hey, our great sister Matwana, she's saying good
That's
evening.
Juana.
Yeah, and Matwana has an addition to the family, right?
Yes, congratulations. She has a grand new baby boy. She is a grandmother.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, so
At
congrats to you.
25,
What a
right?
blessing.
At
At
25 years old. Yeah, we
25.
were just talking about that. Yeah.
We were just talking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My good cousin Dar, she's always tuning in, always sharing. And with that being said, make sure y'all out there sharing this show. The information is good, but it's only good if it's reaching the masses. So help us invite people to the show. And if nothing else, just share it, please. Put it on your page and let people see what we got going on. I thought you would love to see this one here, Dr. Jennings. It's one of our great friends, Nellie. She said, yay, my girl Liz is on tonight. Kenitha Washington is saying hello also. Thank you for tuning in. That's another one of your friends. Okay. Appreciate you. One of my childhood friends, we was talking about the growing up, all the stuff I used to get into. It's because of this guy right here. No, it's probably the other way around. But appreciate you tuning in, Kevin. My good cousin, Ramona Wise, pastor, mother, she's an activist as well. Ramona says missing knowledge of knowing how or where to get the resources that's actually work and not just for funding. And you talked about this in some of our earlier conversation, Liz, about how important resources were.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't know if any one of y'all want to respond to that one.
Yeah, I agree. You guys know, for those of you who do know me, I will push forward a lot of times, and it's maybe not the best thing, but it's where my heart is at. A lot of times we wait for funding before we do. And a lot of times people are hesitant to donate to causes because they're not sure like where directly things are going. That's not me, right? Like I will like create or use and I'm really good at, having limited resources, but yet still being able to stretch it to create things, to create experiences and opportunities and things like that. So I think a lot of times we get in the weeds of the conversations, right? We get in the weeds of talking about the money and the funding, and it paralyzes us where nothing gets done at times. And what I've actually seen is when you're able to do a little bit, money isn't always like the financial part of it, right? Money can also like there's monetary values in our time. There's monetary value in volunteering. There's monetary value in, being present. And so really when we extend that out beyond the part of what we can put in our pocket and realize other things have weight and have value, then we're able to find solutions instead of identifying all the problems that exist. And so I hear that comment, but sometimes when we put things out like that and we focus on the money so much, it causes inactivity and it causes us not to even get started to kind of help serve or look for resources. So not just to the person who made the comment, but just in general, when I hear that, that's something I always kind of push forward. When someone sees someone else get activated, then they want to know, okay, how can I volunteer or how can I do a little bit to kind of help in this process also?
That's awesome. That's awesome. Appreciate the input. My good cousin, Dr. Marlon Ware, my family's showing up. Come on, family. But hey, Marlon, I hope you're watching, man. We got something special for you. So stand by. We got a nice little, just something. I'm gonna leave it at that. Just stand by. We got something I think you're gonna enjoy. And Dorkisa, she's responding to my little jab at her, and I like that she's taking it in just. I appreciate you for tuning in. And my Twana is saying thank you for the well wishes for the addition of our family. So yeah. So what we'll do, Gregory, we're gonna go to commercial break, and after the commercial, we'll come back and keep this thing going.
Sounds great.
View it as a form of empowerment or like a linguistic reappropriation, as some argue that it continues to carry the weight of oppression and should be done away with immediately. How does today's music, namely rap music, play a part in the use of such a derogatory word? We'll talk about that. As we know, rap music has an immense influence.
Man, that's good. That's good. So that's Dr. Martin Ware. He his podcast is The Urban Vibe, but he's part of the Mogul media family. And that topic was about the N-word, and I listened to it, and it was one of the most powerful podcasts that I've listened to in a long time. He gets raw, he gets real, and he doesn't say that stay in that safe space, right? He can just go get black people and bring them on and let them talk about it. He got people of different nationalities coming in and sharing their experiences, their thoughts, and all that. So the Urban Vibe, Dr. Marlon Ware, he's on the Mogul TV family, and go there and check him out and follow him.
Man, that's a powerful discussion. I want to check that out myself because I have my thoughts about that particular topic, and it has evolved over time. The way I used to think about it, I don't think about it now. So, yeah, that'd be great. Check it out. I'm sure it's going to be good.
I'm going to let you read this last comment, Gregory, and then we'll go to your next topic.
All right. It starts as a community because do we actually share or show what we know, or do we talk about it for a session or conference and not actually meeting with the person? Oh, wow, that is good. A lot of us do stand on our soapboxes. We're good at preaching, but we're not good at acting or acting it out, following through and executing. I think what's most important is to be able to have boots on the ground, is to be able to not just read the word, but be doers of the word also. And so faith without works is dead. And so you can't just sit on your high horse and preach. You got to go out there and you got to reach the people that need it also. So that's a very good point. I think that a lot of people like to take the position of authority or take the position of someone who is, sharing wisdom, but they don't actually like to do a whole lot about it. But we're going to make that change starting today. We're going to actually talk. We're going to walk the walk and talk the talk, and walk the walk. Yeah.
You know, you bring a good point up. I know I hear people, we call each other king and queen,
Right.
For motivation and encouragement. But, when you think about people who had kingdoms, right, they had responsibilities, and it wasn't just to sit up and to your point, just be cute and sit in that big king and queen chair. It did come with responsibilities. So, I know you don't use those terms lightly, Gregory, when you use them, but I just thought I'd put that out there. Elizabeth, you got anything you want to add on this comment before we move on?
No, I think that's good. I agree that it's necessary to have an active role. Yes.
Yeah, there's a difference between an influencer and a leader. An influencer is just someone that talks. A leader is someone that does. And so let's make sure we're raising up leaders, not just influencers.
Yeah, appreciate the comment, Mona. Appreciate you for tuning in as well.
Yeah. So one of the most important aspects, I think, of a community is mentorship. I think that is very critical to our personal development and the progression of our culture, of our people, of our society, is that help other people along the way. And I think everybody should have someone that they're helping along. So whenever you climb up the mountain a little bit further, you're helping someone else climb up a little bit further also. But a lot of people are intimidated by mentorship or being a mentor. What are some of the reasons you guys think people are intimidated for being a mentor? And then what are some of the positive results of mentoring? So why are we so scared? And why is it worth it?
So just to give some background to that, I have a mentorship program called Boys Matter to Men that I kind of founded, where I work with men and kind of train them. Interesting, right? Like a woman training what? But I think that's where it starts with, right?
Train
Knowing
them.
that
Yeah.
we have strengths, right?
Okay.
And when you're able to not use your strength as something that you put over people, but that you use as a way of building people up and supporting and nurturing, then we're able to see that in a different light. And so once I kind of got over the whole dynamics of what that looked like and was able to take advantage of my strengths, which is actually like talking to someone, seeing what they're good at, and taking that idea and creating a program or something and giving that to the person that I'm talking with, so they're empowered to, do what their gift is instead of sitting on it. That's when I realized, oh, so this is how this can be used to motivate, to push, to inspire. And for me, it's inspiring men to tap into their gifts, create a workshop that they're able to lead or use, and then they're able to pour that skill into another young man who's needing that or seeking that. And so
Yeah.
really what I learned is when I talk to men about mentorship, I also do things with women too, but on this end, it's a lot of times they feel I haven't arrived yet. I don't have
Hmm.
everything that I need, or my life isn't perfect, or I'm still struggling with things. And that was the biggest thing that I had to learn. Like, I haven't arrived yet either. I still struggle with things. And so I'm very open and vulnerable about that. And I think when I share that piece, people can relate a bit more and realize, wait a minute, if you're struggling with all this and you still can do this, then I think I can get myself up and get going and utilize this or get over whatever's barriers that I may be having, and utilize that to inspire someone else. Because then we're showing that we're all human, but we're all striving for a same cause, right? To see the betterment of our community, of our youth, of the growth and things like that. So when back to the question, I think what I'm seeing is there's intimidation of feeling like we don't have it all together,
Hmm.
or what
Hmm.
right do I have to step into this role that may be different or uncomfortable, is some of the things that may stop us from moving forward with mentorship.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. If you've ever been through anything in life, that qualifies you to be a mentor. If you're in the sixth grade, that qualifies you to mentor someone in the fifth grade. You don't have to have it all figured out. You can show someone that you can be great and still in process at the
Yeah.
same time.
Yeah.
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 One of my favorite quotes is broken crayons still color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good, man.
Where did you want to say something, Gerard, before
Oh, I'll just add to what she talked
yeah.
about, what makes it challenging or why people hesitate. We live in this world where everything we do is seeming like it's under a microscope, right? And to make that even more challenging, I made this post a while ago. It said that validation is a heck of a drug. And while we be honest, we want it, right? But the need to be validated, in certain spaces that shouldn't necessarily be a priority, it makes us timid and hesitant and procrastinate in those spaces. And again, you got those people that look at everything you do, not to learn or not to support, but it's like, hey, what can I do? Or how can I critique this person, right? I make posts, you follow me on Facebook. I got an opinion about a lot of stuff, but some of it I do it just to draw people off, and they fall for it so easy. But either way, I made a post today about the football, team, and this one guy like clockwork as expected came out, and here he goes. I make a post
Right,
about
right.
cooking. Here you go. And it's about two or three of them, and it's just like, man, y'all have no true purpose or worth. At least you're not walking in it. But some people would take that and be timid with what they're doing out of fear of what these people are going to say about what they're doing and how they're doing it. But
Yeah,
just you got to be bold, right? And if it's your purpose and your calling, you got to walk in it with purpose and with the urgency that it is. So I just think that's part of it too, is that man, it's people who got you under the microscope, but it's part of it.
yeah, yeah. Dr. Jennings, I want to circle back to you for a second. You're mentoring men and you're helping guide men to reach their highest potential. Did you ever get any feedback from the men about who do you as a woman think that you are that help teach a man to guide a man to his truest potential? And was that maybe somewhat of a obstacle for you?
So God is good, right?
All the
And
time.
the reason why I think He allowed me to have the space and to do it is how I present it, right? A lot of times, the men that I connect with have been connected to me through um, for me, it was a faith-based trauma program that
Hmm.
I brought to our area. And so there was trust that was established initially through the work that they got to do for 12 weeks with me through
Hmm.
that program. And so they became like ambassadors because after they were done with the program, there was safety and there was trust. A lot of them were veterans, and I had never been a veteran, but just I had worked federally as a civilian with veterans with traumatic brain injury and post-traumatic stress disorder. And so there was
Hmm.
always this level of, even though I didn't have the same experience, I was always very authentic and open about my experiences and I think that always led to the walls being put down because people have certain um, preconceptions about me. And when I talk about the things that I've been through, I'm definitely someone that does not look like what they have been through. And when I'm able to share that with people, especially men, they wonder how I'm still standing. And so they kind of became a protectors for me in that regard. So there was this mutual respect that happened, if that makes sense. So as soon as they start talking to me, instead of it being, there was always this like trust, this mutual respect. And so they shared me to other men, in a positive way, referred me. And so that's how more men kind of came about and create
Yeah.
networks and relationships and professionally rise, right, to support my mentorship program and things like that. So that's why I say God, I think God's hand was in it from the very beginning because I didn't really get pushback because everyone that I encounter is like, wait a minute, if you're doing this, we got to get up and do something, right? As a single mom and things like
Yeah.
that. So I think it's inspiring to them. And that became like how it kind of helped. So I really didn't get pushback on that end, just mainly support. And we started Boys Matter to Men in 2019, and still kind of growing, expanding from that point.
Let me tell you why you didn't get pushback. Is because regardless of what you may hear on social media, a lot of black men do not feel loved by black women. And when we have a black woman stand up and fight for us and understand us and say that you value, that means the world to us. So I want to give you your flowers for validating the men's experience. And men go where they are appreciated. And the fact that you have men that are now sending other men and referring them to you is not surprising to me. Because if you're creating an atmosphere where these men feel valued and appreciated, men are going to constantly come to you. You're never going to be in a shortage because men go where they're appreciated. So thank you for celebrating black men because we need you. We need our black women to tell us you matter. And so I think
Hey, let me give
that's
her some
wonderful and
flowers
amazing
too.
what you're doing.
If I can give her some flowers too. So she talked about how men were in awe when they learned her story, and I was one of them. I
Mm,
met her when she was starting. When Boys Matter to Men was fresh. We were doing an
mm,
event in Texarkana, and Chanel, she connected us. But I man, let me go and spill the beans. One of your guys that you influenced, I won't tell you his name because there's something coming about that later. But he called me today and he poured his heart out to me about you. And I just remember saying, like, yeah, I already know. But just to hear other people, amplify what I already know about you. It's in you. It's not for show. You don't do it for attaboys or attagirls and kudos. You do it because it's your mission, it's your purpose, and you give it your heart. And to Gregory's point, when men see that, we go to where it's not that we're running from anything hard, but sometimes we need somewhere to lay our head down, or we can just be us and not just fight all the time. And you do offer that space. And I thank God for you. And, it's a reason that we stay connected, aside from God, I want to. And I value everything that you bring to us. And I can't thank you enough for what you bring. Yeah.
Thank you.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's also a great example of why the community is so important and why events
Yeah.
like Create the Life I Want conference it matters so much, because the doors are open for women also. And when we value each other, that's where healing begins. When Black women can feel comfortable and safe in front of and vulnerable in front of Black men and vice versa, we can heal each other. We don't have to stay toxic with each other. All we need to do is learn how to value each other, and that's where healing is birthed. That's where it starts. And so, the event Create the Life I Want is definitely a place to do that, and I'm looking forward to it. But before we wrap things up, I do want to give Dr. Jennings a moment to tell us a bit about how people can get in touch with her.
Before we
Tell
do
us
that,
about your programs and offer. Yeah.
hey, before we do that, let's jump to the commercial since you gave a plug about the event, and then we'll come back.
Sure.
That way we can end on, with people understanding who she is and how to get in touch with her.
Absolutely.
Every man battles something, but not every man has a space to heal. Texarkana, September 27, 2025, at Radiant Church. It's time to create the life you want. Join Jamar Bruce and Gerard Ware for a powerful, purpose-driven experience focused on breaking the stigma behind men's mental health. This life-changing event features a dynamic panel of real conversations, live performances and entertainment, epic giveaways, and special guest appearances. Featuring Sunday Best Season 6 runner-up, Kafia Rollerson, keynote speaker, Gregory McKinney, hosted by nationally renowned comedian Derek Keener. This is more than an event, it's a movement, a place for healing, strength, and community. Don't miss your chance to be a part of something great. Together, let's create the life we want. Secure your spot today at www.lifeiwantevent.com.
I ain't ashamed. Jesus took my guilt and he broke every chain. Mental health is wealth and I'm choosing to heal.
Hold on. There you go, brother Gregory.
I know. You gotta keep everybody on their toes. The Create the Life I Want conference is coming, and it's coming quickly. So if you want to be in the house, and trust me, you want to be in the house. We want you to log on right now, this moment. Stop what you're doing. Put the fork down. Stop cooking. Stop doing whatever it is you're doing, and come and log on and get your tickets, because it is going to be an event you do not want to miss. This is an opportunity for men and women to understand the best ways to help build our community and help build each other. It got so much in store, You're just going to be amazed. One of the most important things is going to happen is Gerard Ware is going to be in person taking pictures with folks. So we're looking forward to that as well.
For free. Yeah,
For free, he says. He's not doing the Chris Brown thing where he charges you $1,000 for a photograph. He's actually going to do it for free.
Yeah, for free.
Yeah.
Hey,
Dr. Jennings.
One more thing, and I'm sorry, I just want to make sure we get these comments in before.
Yes, definitely want the comments. Yeah.
We showed the commercial earlier about Dr. Marlon Ware. Matwana said she absolutely loathed that word. We're talking about the N word, and people, man, you got to listen to the episode because it's different ideas and different mindsets.
Right.
We talk about how the Black community took that hateful word and transformed it into something, a term of endearment, right? So whether you agree with it or not, it's different ideas on that, and I get Matwana's mindset. Yeah, man, you got to tune in.
It's a very complicated topic, a very complicated issue. Yeah,
for sure. And my brother from Texarkana as well, Anthony, he says, I think we need all types. Some are good at inspiring and some are good at executing. And that was in reference to what you said earlier, Gregory, when you were talking about how some people want the title or assume the position, but not necessarily do the work. I know you're not saying the same thing on there, but it could seem like y'all got conflicting, messages. But you're not talking about people that just want to, people that want to actually inspire people, because that is a necessary part of it. You're talking about, and I don't want to speak for you, but specifically people that just want the title and not do the work.
Yeah, some people want the stage. and not the work. Yeah, they want the limelight and not the sweat.
Yeah, for sure. And Ramona saying, great responses. Love you too, cousin. Blessings to everyone is what she's saying. And Kevin, childhood friend, you want to take this one, Gregory?
Yeah,
Dr. Jen, you want to take it? I don't want me and Gregory to hog the.
No, you guys are good. I'll let Gregory take this one.
Okay.
You're referring to the N-word. This is highly charged and historically racist term that originated in the United States during the period of slavery. Its use has been associated with violence, oppression, and dehumanization of Black people. And it cuts off.
He said, can't wait to hear from y'all on this.
My thought, and I don't want to, steal anything from, I'm sure that Marlon Ware's perspective is profound. My opinion of the N-word has evolved over years. I was the person that took the position that it should just be removed from the entire lexicon altogether. That unless we're speaking in a historical context, that it was absolutely no use to use the word. I've become a bit more flexible with the use of the word now, and I don't see it as insulting. I think I may have shared with you the other day that my children are not offended by the N-word because it is generational. The generation before me, it was a hot button issue. Our generation, it is a reason for anger, and for my children's generation, it's very it's a non-issue almost. So it does change and it does evolve. I think depending on how you were impacted by it.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's necessarily wrong in their views, but I do think that the N-word is a divisive word, and I respect it. So it's a big conversation. It's a big conversation around it. Dr. Jennings, what you got to say about the N-word? I'm curious. I can see you thinking. over there.
I have mixed views on it. Yeah, but I think being able to be open to hear other people's responses and how that shows up as adults versus youth when I hear them say it. I'm still like listening and, digesting my thoughts.
Yeah, that's fair. I get it. Gregory, I'll let you take this one from my 20.
Born into another person is a major responsibility, and God holds us accountable. That's why you have some celebrities who are wise enough to recognize and say, I'm nobody's role model, even though they're still considered an influence. Powerful.
Yeah.
That's a good statement.
And go ahead.
I don't think that we cannot be role models. I think that even if you're not trying to be, you're still showing someone an example of maybe what they should not be or what they should be. I think that it is hard not to model something.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. And Kevin is saying big up to Dr. Jennings. That was in response to us giving you your flowers. So
thank you.
Yeah.
So now go ahead, Gregory. It's yours, brother.
Dr. Jennings, we've loved having you on. You are a bad Negro. And so we're glad to have you on the show tonight, pouring into us. But we want the people to be able to reach out to you and connect with you. So how do they do that?
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, I am an author. I've self-published 14 books total. So if you look on Amazon, I do a lot of work in regards to for youth and adults, focusing on emotional healing, goal setting, forgiveness, different books from a coaching standpoint that help walk people through that. Single, Successful, and Satisfied, Break Free and Take Back of Your Power, some of those areas. So all my books are on Amazon. Some are at Barnes & Noble. Just look up Dr. Elizabeth Jennings for some of my resources there. And then on social media, it's Elizabeth Carter Jennings. My account got hacked, so I have my government name. But if you connect with that, then I can connect you to my other programs that I have. Boys Matter to Men is my mentorship program. If you're looking for getting involved. And more recently, my son graduated from high school and is on to his next journey. My daughter is in 10th grade. So I am now kind of shifting gears, realizing that I do a lot of pouring to others. And so as a woman, a single mom, it's important to remember who we are, important to ourselves. So the Holy Spirit kind of has been pushing on me to actually start doing more for women, moms, whether they're single or married, who are looking to kind of reclaim the parts of themselves that we lose when we take care of others and kind of neglect ourselves. So Reclaim Her Now is my newest launch program that I have. This is focusing on building a community to focus on women's mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being. It's a safe space where we can meet, empower each other, do retreats and different things, conferences that kind of focus on us pouring into ourselves so that we can show up better in the world. And so that's one of my newest programs. So it's Reclaim Her Now. And then I do have a free downloadable gift for those of you who are looking. One of the biggest things that I realized along my journey is fear was one of the biggest obstacle that used to kind of, keep me from stepping out. But once I was able to really overcome that and realize, activating my faith and following God, if I take one step, that He will provide the others. There is a downloadable devotional that's free. It's a 5-day devotional called Faith Over Fear. And so that's been a big part of my journey, learning not to be led by fear, but by faith, and trusting God through a lot of it. And so this is free on that Reclaim Her Now website that I kind of talked to you all about. And I just wanted to kind of offer that for those who are listening and invite you, if you're a woman listening, if you're a husband who has a wife, to encourage to join the community so that we can kind of be empowered to support ourselves so that we can show up better in the world as women who love men and want to uplift them and also kind of follow out God's purpose for our life.
Hey, do you mind talking about just briefly, what does that devotional look like? Like, we go to the website, www.reclaimhernow.com. We download it. What is that, the material look like?
So in it, what you'll have, it's a scriptural base where for 5 days, there's topics that relate to things that women struggle with. You'll get an example of what that story may look like of the struggle of the day. There's a scripture that you're encouraged to read about. And then there's a journal prompt that talks you through how to work through what you may be experiences in this area that may be hindering you from stepping out into, a goal or a dream or desire. So you're able to kind of consistently over a week period, and you can recycle that each week. But it's about pouring out the thoughts. A lot of times we have thoughts in our head that just kind of ruminate and they keep us stuck. And so the goal is to not just be led by our own thoughts, but to get the word of God, plus also how can we apply this to be able to walk out to our next and deal with the area that's keeping us stuck so that we can move on to the next area that God has for us. And so that is probably one of the biggest things. Whenever God puts an idea, a dream in my heart, and I'm like, oh Lord, like not me, then usually it's a process that I go through. So I'm sharing that process, in a broken down component for others to be able to get over what may be stopping them from stepping out in their purpose also.
That's good. www.reclaimhernow. Hey, Kevin, my childhood friend, you got a house full of women over there, man. Go ahead and go to the website and download this devotional, something that maybe y'all can share together as a family. Everybody, go to the website. It's free. It's informational. You already see how learned and how just excellent Dr. Jennings is. So go in and take advantage of this free resource and be a part of that community.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure, for sure.
Thank you for all that you do, Dr. Jennings. We really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah. This has been a great conversation. The importance of the community cannot be understated, cannot be spoken about enough. I mean, I think that the community, if done correctly, can construct and it can care. And so that's what we're here to do. And we hope that the biggest takeaway from tonight is that when we talk about community, we're talking about people that build you and make you better. And we're talking about people who also need your gifts. And so a community is where you can get poured into, but a place where you also pour into also. And so that's the only way that we can get better, is that we use our shared experiences to show each other a better way. And so if you're interested in continuing this conversation, we want to invite you to the Create the Life I Want event coming up September 27th in Texarkana, Texas at Radiant Church. Going to be a great opportunity. We look forward to seeing everyone there, men and women. We want all the women that are listening to come on out, all the men that are listening to come on out, and we promise you, you will not be disappointed. I hear the keynote speaker is fire. So you want to be in the house for that.
And big shouts to Jamar, who's always working behind the scene, trying to get this event as excellent as possible. We'll be in Texarkana this coming weekend. We'll be all over the radio Saturday and Sunday promoting the event. We have tickets on hand too, so reach out to myself or Jamar, and we'll get you tickets as well. And then the following weekend, not this weekend, but the following weekend is the event. It starts at 5 o'clock, as Gregory said, at Radiant Church. The website is www.lifeiwantevent.com. Go get your tickets. Right now, they're still $10. It's going to be food. It's going to be entertainment. And again, you get to take a picture with me for free. But most importantly, you get that good information from Gregory. And our very own IC, she'll be there leading us and ending in prayer as well. And Matwana, she's going to be part of the narrating the panel discussion too. It's going to be a lot of good information. www.lifeiwantevent.com. Go ahead and get your tickets.
As always, thank you guys for tuning in so much. Please stay in touch with us. Like, share, and subscribe. The Floor is Yours podcast. Reach out to us. Tell us what topics are of interest to you, and we will bring on intelligent, wonderful people like Dr. Jennings to come on and talk to us about it and how we can be better. But until next time, people, we love you. Peace, love, and hair grease. We out.
Need another, this one here really do it for you. Baby, you